Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. My name is Adrian, and today we are taking a look at the deck that I am currently playing at my modern FNM, and that is going to be Soul Sisters, but a human variant of it. So this is Boros Human Soul Sisters, which is pretty wacky. It is going to be running in around $460 or 110 ticks if you're playing on MTGO. Let's get into it, starting out with what are our Soul Sisters if you don't know what Soul Sisters are. Soul Sisters, also known as Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant, or at least these are the two main sisters of the Soul Sisters package. So whenever another creature enters play, as long as one of these two are in play, we get to gain 1 life. Now, the whole point of a Soul Sisters deck is to benefit or gain advantage from having a life gain engine. So with these two cards, with these two sisters, we are going to be playing Ajani's Pridemate. So Ajani's Pridemate is a 2/2, and whenever we gain life, we get to put a 1/1 counter on it. Fun little fact, when Ajani's Pridemate enters play, if we have one of the Soul Sisters in play, we gain life from him entering play, which means he gets to trigger his own ability from gaining life from one of the Soul Sisters. Now, if you've seen Soul Sisters before, I've done a couple different Soul Sisters variants on the channel already. We're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to be playing with a card called Norin the Wary. Now, Norin the Wary is a very weird card. Whenever a player plays a spell, or whenever a creature attacks, including himself for the record, remove Norin the Wary from the game and then return him to play under its owner's control at the end step. So, let's break that down. Whenever anyone does basically anything, Norin the Wary decides he's going to just screw off for a little bit, and then he's going to come back at the end of the turn, which trigger both of our Soul Sisters, which is very cool, which is a way of constantly generating counters on Ajani's Pridemate. Now, if you are paying attention, and you can kind of see where I'm going with this, Norin the Wary is a human. So, we're going to use Norin the Wary to also fire off Thalia's Lieutenant and Champion of the Parish a whole bunch. Whenever he decides to disappear for a little while and then return at the end step, both Thalia's Lieutenant and Champion of the Parish will get a 1/1 counter. Now, we have one more card that plays with Norin the Wary, and that's going to be Mentor of the Meek. It is whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 and draw a card. Every single creature we have at this point is power 2 or less, including Norin the Wary. This is bananas. Now, we do have 2 other creatures in the deck. We have Ranger of Eos and Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Thalia is really just a super value human. It allows us to make our opponents that are going to be playing non-creatures slow down a little bit, so slowing down Storm a little bit, slowing down a lot of other decks just a touch. And then Ranger of Eos does allow us to go and fetch up our pieces, because if we don't see a Soul Sister, we don't see a Champion of the Parish, or we don't see a Norin the Wary, when we play Ranger of Eos, we can just go and get whatever combination of those cards that we wish, because when Ranger of Eos enters play, we may search our library for up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 1 or less. Reveal them, put them into your hand. Next, let's talk about the removal package, because removal is always good. We are running 4 Lightning Helixes, 4 Path to Exile, and a single Oblivion Ring. So, Oblivion Ring is kind of a catch-all card for us. If we need to get rid of a permanent, so a Planeswalker, or an enchantment, or an artifact, Oblivion Ring is really the one card we have to get through those things. Path to Exile, it exiles creatures. Yeah, you guys know what that does. And then Lightning Helix is an interesting choice, because originally I was running Lightning Bolt, but I found that Lightning Helix was actually better because we every so often got the extra trigger on Ajani's Pridemate, which did make the difference a number of times. Also, the touch of extra life gain every so often, even though we are like a life gain built deck, the extra life gain sometimes has been relevant. There's definitely been more than once where Lightning Helix made it so my opponent did the math wrong when they thought they were going to kill me. The land package now, which is a beast into itself, and I'm going to explain what's going on here. So we have Sacred Foundry, 2 of them, 2 mountains, and 8 plains. This is the base core of our land base in this deck. The reason why we're running this is because we are running 8. That's right, 8 fetch lands in this deck. I'm currently running an Arid Mesa, 4 Flooded Strands, 1 Marsh Flats, and 2 Windswept Heath. Obviously, in a perfect world, I'd be running 4 Arid Mesas and then 4 of something else that also fetches up planes. The objective is we want to be able to fetch out our planes when and wherever possible, and then if we need to fix our mana base, because we usually only need 1 red, then we do have a way of going and getting that Sacred Foundry. I mentioned we were going to talk about the sideboard because the sideboard is actually a really important piece of this deck, specifically because we are running Blood Moon. We're running 3 Blood Moon. This is why we're running all the fetch lands, and why we're running not really much anything else, because we want to fetch out 1 or 2, maybe just 1 of our planes at the very minimum, and then anything else we play is going to be a mountain for now and forever. So it allows us to play Blood Moon really effectively, and we don't have to ever worry about accidentally screwing over our own mana base. Against Eldrazi Tron and regular Tron, and a couple of the other just Eldrazi builds, Blood Moon is really helpful because all of those decks are really hard for us. So Blood Moon is kind of a must-play if you are going to be serious about playing this deck competitively. The other cards we have in the sideboard, we have Stony Silence and Rest in Peace, 2 and 2, because they are really good cards and we're playing white. There's no reason not to play them. And then 2 Settle the Wreckage, 1 Disenchant. Settle the Wreckage helps us against other humans' decks, and it helps against spirits, which is super relevant. Disenchant, you know what Disenchant does. I'm not going to explain it. And then we have another Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and Worship. Worship, again, is against other creature-based decks. We can just play a Soul Sister, and then we don't care if our opponent swings to our face for days and days and days, because we're just gonna have Worship, and our opponent can't kill us as long as we have a creature. Super funny. The last 3 cards in the sideboard, we have Impact Tremors, Mirran Crusader, and Proclamation of Rebirth. Now, all 3 of these cards are kind of cards I'm testing out. Impact Tremors is kind of my way of dealing with control-based decks. If I can get Impact Tremors into play and I can get Norin the Wary into play, it's almost impossible for most decks to deal with that unless they actually have enchantment hate, and most decks aren't bringing in enchantment hate in game 2. Mirran Crusader, I was trying it out because I was trying to go up against some decks that I felt were bad matchups for me. Against the Rock, Mirran Crusader is like a hero, a champion amongst men, specifically humans in this exact case. Proclamation of Rebirth, I was trying it out. I was trying it out largely because it's a tech from one of the other Soul Sisters deck, where you're using it to, ideally to forecast. So you're actually playing it on your upkeep for 6 mana to get a card with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard. So you're getting your Soul Sisters, you're getting a Norin, you're getting Champion of the Parish. Who knows? At this point, I'm probably going to swap these cards out for something else, but feel free to try them. Let me know feedback. What do you guys think? Should these be in the sideboard? Do you have any other better suggestions? Anyways, that has been the entire deck in my deep dive on what I'm playing and why I'm playing it. If you have suggestions, leave them in the comment below. Subscribe if you like this kind of content and want to see more of it, and let's zip over and watch some gameplay where see how I do this with this on MTG.